Hey, Pastor Ray Barnett here with you. Glad that you could be with me here on the Oasis. And as always, I wish you a good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching this broadcast. Today we have a beautiful day here in upstate New York and almost fall. So that's my favorite season, and I know it is for quite a few people. Today, I want to talk to you about the fact that nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible with God. More accurately, when you trust in God. Today I had a very, I don't know what, providential, more than unique experience when I went to my local gym. And I ran into a woman, a sister in the Lord, who was in my renewed class. That's what we're using here, this sheet. I'll explain it later. Let me get it out, this sheet here. I ran into a woman who she was in my class years ago when we did this, when I first started this program in our church. And we got to just talking a little bit. I told her how this shows up, this broadcast is back up and running again. But in her case, and I have shared this before on the broadcast, her case, I had about 12 people that met faithfully. Some came, then a couple of weeks, and then they didn't come back. We met every Saturday. They never came back, but she was one of the dozen that came faithfully. And out of that dozen, every single person, there wasn't one exception, every single person made dramatic improvements in and from these teachings. But her case was by far the most dramatic. She had suffered from schizophrenia for 33 years. And by the way, just parenthetically, I don't find it any coincidence, like it just happened to bump into her today because of her story and what I'm going to tell you. So 33 years, she had schizophrenia. As we were talking, in the course of our conversation, I asked her, I said, how have you been doing since the classes stopped in the church? And I think that she said it's been 12 years. I don't remember how long it's been since we stopped the classes, but they went on for about 5 years. But yeah, I guess it is probably close to 10, 12 years. 33 years, listen. Today's theme is nothing is impossible with God. Doesn't matter what you're suffering with, what you're suffering from, what you're going through. With God, nothing is impossible. She had suffered for 33 years with schizophrenia, had never been outside of a psychiatric institution for more than 2 weeks at a time in those 33 years. She told me today that she had 45 electroconvulsive therapy treatments or shock treatments. I know from talking to her back in the day, all the different medications she was on: Thorazine, Mellaril, Stelazine, Risperidone, everything. She was on everything. In addition to hearing voices, having delusional thinking, anything that you have read about schizophrenia, she had all these symptoms. 33 years. That's a long time. Just some of you that are watching probably aren't even 33 years old. She had schizophrenia for that amount of time. And I have to tell you that I did expect to get results with the people when we first started meeting. I knew there would be good results. I just didn't expect, number one, that all the people would get the kind of results they did. Depressions were gone. And a couple of those people are still in my church. We have people that came outside my church for the meetings as well. But Depressions were gone. Panic attacks diminished or disappeared. But in this woman's case, after a few years of us meeting, and she was making steady improvements, one day she walked into her this is a secular psychiatrist, not Christian, and the improvements were becoming so noticeable that at one point, which was the end for her, her psychiatrist told her, there's no sense of you even coming back anymore. There's nothing more to talk about. Now here's something else too that some of you may be able to comprehend. When you're on something like Haldol and Thorazine for decades, it's almost miraculous in itself to get off those medications once your body is used to it. She not only got off every single medication, she's been off, as she told me today, because I was interested in the follow-up, like, okay, this worked well, when you first left the class stopped. 12 years now. No medications, no hospitalizations, no psychiatric institutions. And one of the things that she said to me just today, she kept insisting, let me put this over here. She said, all because you kept saying, read that word, meaning the Bible. Read that Bible, memorize that Bible. By the way, this is the only book I had on the table for a meeting with people having, well, in her case, psychotic episodes, but in the other people's cases, just neuroses, depressions and anxieties. And she must have said it 5 times to me today. All because of you kept saying, don't let go of that book, read that book, memorize that book. And this was the only book I had or offered during those meetings, nothing else. Except the experience that I'm giving to you on these broadcasts. So now she was telling me how she's got others that she's teaching. She goes with them to their counselors. These are all secular psychologists and psychiatrists, and some that she's working with, and she's relating what I taught her to other people. By the way, I have another sister in the Lord who teaches this same class, but not online. She teaches it at our church, and making good progress with the people there as well. So, my point to you today is that with God, nothing is impossible. Schizophrenia is known as the cancer of mental illness. It is still thought to this day to be incurable, even though it can be controlled with medications and therapy and so on. But I've not read, I don't remember reading any secular psychiatrist, psychologist, or anyone else saying that there's an actual cure for it. We can get rid of this. But we know with the book, the Bible, these are the type of promises that we have in the Bible. Jesus himself saying, with God nothing is impossible, and there's other statements just like that in the New Testament, and then we have them throughout the Bible. So I don't think it was just a coincidence that I happened to run into this woman today. I felt it was more, once again, a validation that doing these broadcasts at this time in history, when mental health issues are becoming monumental problems, young people, older people are having anxieties and depressions and panic attacks and so on. I don't think that running into this sister in the Lord today was just an accident, because I've been in my gym for 25, 26, 27 years. We're at a new location, but still, there she happened to be. Well, once or twice I've seen her in the gym over the years, but that's over the course of 25, 6, 7 years. Now, I think it was, for me, it was a confirmation to do these broadcasts for you and with you, so that you too can be set free. Let me say it this way. If you're dealing with panic attacks, you're dealing with anxiety attacks, you're dealing with a depression, you're bipolar, schizoid affective, whatever it is, it's very hard to beat the diagnosis of schizophrenia, regardless of the category. There's different categories of schizophrenia. Once you hit, that's kind of like the top. That's when you've really come upon a mental condition that men say cannot be cured, but God says it can, and she is living proof. If you listen to my testimony on the website, on the mental health, I'm living proof, and you can be living proof that Christ has set you free. And we're talking about down the road now for some of you. For some of you who've been watching for some time, you're experiencing the deliverance. Why? Because God wrote this book. I don't care really what's on YouTube, what people are selling or what they're promoting, and coaches and motivational speakers. Nothing can top the 31,102 verses in this book. That's the truth. And I'm glad that I have it. I'm glad that you have it. And today is not a lesson as much as a testimony. Nothing is impossible with God. You hold on to that. Download this sheet that has 12 principles. It's really pretty scant compared to all the promises in the Bible and all that we'll be talking about. Download it from the website. Put my name in, Pastor Ray Barnett. Time for Truth Ministries. Go to the Mental Health tab. Go down, look for 12 Principles of Renewed. Download a copy for yourself. We'll be using this. But I'm just sharing this testimony with you to encourage you, because the results that we got, God, myself, with this woman borders on the miraculous. 33 years with schizophrenia, 45 shock treatments, all types of psychotropic medications, therapies. Nothing worked except this book. Wow. Keep all the other teachings that you have out there on YouTube. I'll stick with this book. It works, and it'll work for you. Remember, on this channel, I'm not selling anything. I'm not asking for your money. I'm not looking to get monetized. I'm not looking to become famous. And with the small amount of subscribers that we have, that's not likely that I'm going to become famous on this channel, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to help you. I'm looking to have you become delivered just like this woman has. So if you'd like to be a part of this teaching, these teachings, this course, then subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the notification button. I'm doing it Monday through Friday, which is basically daily, and tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday, so I won't be doing anything over the weekend, I don't think, but I'll be back Monday. So anyway, subscribe, hit the notification button, and a thumbs up, especially if you like this testimony. I did, by the way, talk to her, because I had shared with her a couple of years ago about coming on the broadcast with me, and I may arrange that, so we'll take some time to go through her story. It'll be very encouraging for you to hear coming from her mouth about what God did for her through these teachings with an upstate pastor in New York who's definitely not famous, with this book, God's book. So let me pray for you today. Father, help those that are watching today to totally know and truly understand that nothing is impossible with God. Deliver them from their fears, anxieties, and depressions, and whatever else they're struggling with. I pray today in Jesus' name. Okay, that's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, and we'll be good. Lord willing, I will see you on Monday. And again, maybe I'll get a show up tomorrow. I don't know. But until then, always remember and never forget that what I just said, nothing is impossible with God. God bless you. See you soon.